Hello from a housing estate in Derby. There's a reason I'm in this particular housing estate, which I'll explain in a bit. But I'm going on a road trip today and I'm actually going to be going to one of my favourite places. It also has some personal significance for me, so I thought I'd film a video and kind of take you along on the trip with me. I'm heading to the Derwent Valley in Derbyshire, or at least part of it, because the valley is about 50 miles long in total. The bit I'm going to is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but I think a lot of people don't know about it, maybe because it gets overlooked in favour of the Peak District, which is nearby. While I'm there, I'll be staying in a tiny barn, which has some interesting history of its own. And if you're a music fan, you might spot somewhere that looks familiar. I'll also be walking along a disused canal while talking about a difficult time in my life, which led to me buying a narrowboat and eventually changed my life for the better. So why am I driving around a housing estate in Derby? Well, before there were houses here, there used to be a college here. It's where my friend Laura went to college, and Laura is the reason I first visited the Derwent Valley, back when I was a teenager. I visited Laura to see her end-of-year art show, and it was her brother's birthday while I was here. So me and Laura's family went to see her auntie, who lived in the Derwent Valley. Then we hired some rowing boats and went paddling along the river. So I'm basically doing the same journey I did when I was a teenager. I'm about to go past where my friend's auntie lived. It was just on the right there. This is a village called Milford, and strangely enough there used to be several mills here, which were built in the 18th century. Laura's auntie lived in one of the many houses which were originally built for mill workers to live in. I remember being struck by how beautiful the area was, and I always remembered the trip. And I'm just coming into Belper now, which is the town where I went rowing with my friend and her family. Just went past somewhere that used to have a giant Mr. Potato head, but it's not there anymore. I don't know where it's gone. I should probably give an update on my car, as quite a few people have asked how she is. Winnie is a first generation Mini, and she recently celebrated her 20th birthday. She's definitely showing her age, but I've decided to keep her. In fact, I'd like to do a proper restoration. I have had one quote for getting her resprayed, but it was £6,000, which didn't even include the roof, because the roof is okay, and it didn't include VAT either. So I need to get some more quotes, basically. I think I always look moody when I'm driving, but it's because I'm concentrating, so sorry for all the moody faces I'm pulling. Just a little doggy crossing the road with its owner. I've had to stop the car here and I'm going to reverse because I've just seen 4 first generation Minis. Oh my god, no, there are more than 4. Oh my god, this is crazy. I can see 5 of them. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna show you this. I think I've just parked on someone's drive, so I shouldn't really be here, but I just wanted Winnie to meet some friends. So yeah, she's saying hello at the moment. Is that another first generation Mini? Oh my god, it's like a first generation Mini festival around here. And there's another one. Oh my god. What the hell? I hope I've gone the right way. Right, oh, bit of a sharp turn. Oh, it's just as I remember it. I absolutely love this place. I just love the view.
This will be the third time I've stopped at this barn. I originally stopped here in 2022 when I was doing a walk in the area, and then again in 2023 when I was doing another walk. It's in an area called Holloway and has an amazing view over the Derwent Valley, which I'll show you in a bit. It has new owners now, so I'm intrigued to see what they've done with it.
So it is different inside here to how it was before. I think it's had a bit of a makeover. These stairs are really steep. Hopefully I can get up while also filming. So this is the bedroom. As you can see, it's quite small, but that's why I like it. I think it's really cute in here. And then if you turn around, there's also a door that leads to the outside, so you can go down the steps.
The barn apparently dates from the 1800s and would have been used by carters as a stop-off. The horse would have slept in the downstairs bit and the carter would have slept in the loft. It's strange to think how many horses must have slept where I'm standing now. It's now the following day and I'm going for a walk, but I'm also going to talk about a difficult period of my life and how this fits in with where I'll be walking. I've been in two minds about whether or not to talk about it because it is quite personal, but I know a lot of people who watch this channel have their own difficulties, so I'm hoping it might give some people a bit of hope. So here we go. Almost 5 years ago now, I had a very strange experience. It was so strange, I've recently been asked to write a book about it, but I don't think I can be bothered to write a book. I basically had to do something for the sake of other people, knowing that it would have a huge detrimental effect on myself and my own life, and also knowing I was potentially putting myself in danger. I never actually considered not going through with it, and I'm really glad I did, but I think I underestimated the psychological impact it was going to have on me. I think it was the fear that caused it to have such an impact. I basically became a nervous wreck. I was scared to be in my own home because I was worried someone might break in and harm me. I became obsessed with making sure my doors were locked. I couldn't go to bed without having my house keys and my phone next to my pillow, and I still struggled to get to sleep because I felt more vulnerable when I was asleep. I'm at Cromford railway station now, so I'm going to briefly interrupt the story to tell you an interesting fact about this place. There used to be 2 tracks on this railway line going in opposite directions, but as you can see, the track on the right has been lifted up. This means the platform on the right hasn't been used by rail passengers since the 1960s, but it was used in the 1990s when Oasis needed an empty station platform for the cover of their first number 1.
Are you here visiting?
Yeah, I'm stopping in Holloway. Not too far. Are you visiting, are you?
Yeah, just up do some work.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, cool, yeah.
So is this a day trip for you?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Wattsangwell station and then walk back to Cromford along the old canal, the Suez Canal. Yeah.
Now back to the story. One of the things that made me feel better was walking, but my friends weren't really interested in going for walks. Years before, I'd bought this book, remembering my visit to the Derwent Valley as a teenager. but none of my friends wanted to do the walk with me. So in 2022, I joined a women's walking group, and we met at Watstandwell Station to do a 6.5-mile section of the Derwent Valley Heritage Way. The walk has 10 sections in total, so I led one walk every month, and I gradually started to feel better. I think it was the combination of physical exercise, being in nature, and also meeting some really lovely people. My progress wasn't linear though, I was still quite up and down. I'd get triggered by certain things, and the scared feelings would come back again. Now this might sound ridiculous, but there was something that really kept me going when I felt rubbish. Well, 2 things actually. My pet rabbits, Heidi and Flopsy. I'd adopted them both from rescue centres years before, which is why Flopsy had such a silly name. I often used to call him Little One instead of his real name. Then, in March 2023, Heidi died. I felt miserable again and took myself for a solo walk along the Cromford Canal, where I'm walking now, hoping it would make me feel better. But this time, walking didn't help, and I felt completely hopeless. Then, about 6 weeks later, Flopsy died. And to make matters worse, I injured my leg halfway through digging a hole in the garden to bury him. So now I didn't have any rabbits, and I could barely walk. I felt like I was cursed. I wrote in my diary at the time, "Sometimes I feel like I will never be a happy person ever again." But this is where the story does get happier. Only 3 days after Flopsy died, I saw a narrowboat for sale on Facebook. I'd been looking at narrowboats for a few years, but narrowboats are expensive and also a huge liability, so I'd always talked myself out of it. But I felt so desperate, I decided I had nothing to lose. I arranged to view the boat 5 days later and drove up to the marina in Lancashire, dosed up on painkillers for my leg and praying I wouldn't need to do an emergency stop. It's hard to explain this feeling, but when I saw the boat, I thought, oh, that's my boat. And the name of the boat was Little One. I decided it was a sign. The only problem was, the boat was moored the other side of the country from where I was working and living. So about a month later, once my leg was better, I took 2 weeks off work and embarked upon the journey to bring Little One to her new home. And just that journey, bringing the boat home, was life-changing for me. I met so many lovely people along the way, and so many random strangers helped me, that it actually restored my faith in humanity. Quite a lot did go wrong. I got stuck at the bottom of my first lock, and I had a plumbing leak after a few days, which meant I didn't have any running water for most of the journey. I fell in the canal. Then I had to take a diversion because of a broken lock, which meant my journey ended up being 40 miles longer than planned. I also got my boat stuck while trying to enter a lock and had to get rescued by an actual sailor from the Merchant Navy. Shout out to my friend Jono, who came to help me with some of the locks, and also my friend Katie, who drove me to a supermarket to get supplies. It was mentally tiring in the same way that driving a car all day long is, but those 2 weeks gave me a lot of time to think as well. I suppose it was a bit like Eat, Pray, Love, except a very low budget version. If Julia Roberts came from Wolverhampton, and instead of flying across the world, she travelled along the English canal system at 3 miles an hour. There is still a bit more to the story, but I need to show you a few more places first. This is Aqueduct Cottage, which was originally built for a lockkeeper to live in. There is a lock gate here, but it's just decorative and doesn't actually work. The name of the cottage refers to an aqueduct where the Cromford Canal goes over the River Derwent. And this is Leewood Pump House, which was built to pump water from the River Derwent into the Cromford Canal. It's powered by steam and it does still work. In fact, I've been here on one of the days when it was operating. It's a bit rude. And this is High Peak Junction, where the former Cromford and High Peak Railway used to meet the Cromford Canal.
There's a dinosaur over there.
I'm nearly at the end of the Cromford Canal now, at a place called Cromford Wharf. One of the surviving warehouses is now a cafe.
I'm talking quietly because I still feel a bit stupid talking to the camera in public, but I'm just having a quick coffee from the cafe behind me, and then I'm going to go to Cromford Mills and somewhere else in Cromford that does have some personal significance for me.
So this is Cromford Mills, and it's the centrepiece of the Derwent Valley Mills UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's often described as the birthplace of the modern factory system, and was once home to the world's first successful water-powered cotton spinning mill. It does still have a working water wheel, but instead of spinning cotton, it generates electricity. Anyway, back to the story. So I'd bought my narrowboat in July 2023. Then in March 2024, I started making silly narrowboat videos on YouTube. I'm still not sure what possessed me to start making the videos, and I just posted the first one as a test really. But people seemed to like them, so I carried on. By August, I had quite a few subscribers, and I actually got recognised by one of them while I was in this bookshop, because I was in Cromford for work at the time. By this time, I felt much, much happier than I had done on my visit to Cromford the year before, partly because of the boat, partly because of my silly YouTube videos, and partly because of other changes I'd made in my life. I met the people who run the bookshop, and they very kindly gave me this mug. I remember sitting on a bench outside the bookshop, thinking about how hopeless I'd felt when I was in Cromford just over a year before, and how much happier I felt now. It's just a mug, but whenever I use it, it reminds me of how I was able to turn everything around. I hope that doesn't sound smug, and also I know there'll be people watching this video who've been through things much worse than what I've been through. I'm also fully aware that something else could go wrong tomorrow. That's just life, isn't it? There are ups and downs, good bits and bad bits. But I'm a lot more resilient than I used to be, and I think that's because I know I can deal with things when they do go wrong. I think the point of this video is to let people know, even if you feel completely hopeless now, you can make things better. Maybe better than they were ever before.